Welcome back to another reading vlog. Are we all strapped in to go on our Zodiac Academy journey? We are reading Zodiac Academy Book 5, which is Cursed Fates. This will include spoilers, so if you have not read the book, you are being warned at the top of the video. This will have spoilers. I'm not holding back because one, we're in the middle of the series, so how do you even do a non-spoiler version? Two, there's just too much going on. I have too many initial thoughts that I'm not going to hold them back, okay? So you will get all my unfiltered thoughts, reactions, and emotions while reading this book. Now, to bring you up to speed on my Zodiac Academy journey, I am following a reading order that I saw all over TikTok, and I will put in the description what exactly the reading order is. But just to bring you up to speed, these are the books I have read. I read Zodiac Academy Book 1, The Awakening. I read Zodiac Academy Book 2, don't remember the name of it. Read Zodiac Academy Book 3, The Reckoning. Then I paused and I read all 5 books in the Ruthless Boys prequel series. Then I went back to Zodiac Academy. I read Book 4, which is Shadow Princess. I have a full reading vlog of me reading Shadow Princess. Okay. Then I had to pause again and I had to read Zodiac Academy 0.5, Origins of an Academy Bully, which is a 90-page novella that is set before, I think it's 4 years before book 1. Super short, took me an hour and a half. I have a full reading vlog on that one as well. Then I read Zodiac Academy Book 1.5, The Awakening as Told by the Boys. It is basically a retelling of Book 1 from the perspective of the heirs and Lance. I just finished that one. I did not do a reading vlog on that because even though I hadn't started this channel when I read Book 1, so there's no vlog on that, I didn't think a vlog would be interesting because none of that information in Book 1.5 was going to be new for me. It was just going to be told from a different POV. And honestly, I just feel like all the information that was in there, we already had learned throughout books 1 through 4, so it really wasn't anything new. So no reading vlog on that one. Now we are going to Zodiac Academy Book 5, Cursed Fates. I'm so excited. Oh my god. Okay. End of Book 4, we landed with Tori and Darius having their divine moment where they are asked by the stars if they are ready to become mates. Darius is begging Tori, I'm gonna make everything up to you, I love you, blah blah. He's professing his love to her, really is trying to convince her to say yes, and she's so stuck on you tried to drown me, which fair girl, fair. He tried to drown you, he did try to kill you, and he was pretty awful to you. He embarrassed you in front of everyone, he treated you like crap. But she's really stuck on it, and he's trying to explain to her we only get this one moment. I don't understand. He literally says we are going to be star-crossed if we say no to this. We will never find love again. Okay, never going to find love again. And Tori says, I'll take that. I'm still not over it. It's been a week and a half since I read that book because I had to read 2 Rebecca Yarrow's books in between, as well as the novella and 1.5 before I could even get to here, and I still have not processed that she said no. Crazy. Then Lance and Darcy are able to bring Clara out of the shadow realm. Clara then stabs Lance. We think he's dead at the end of book 4, okay? It is presumed that he has died at the end of book 4. Okay, and I've had to go a week and a half thinking this man was dead. I cannot. So my main things I need to figure out are, 1, is Lance alive? Someone needs to come save him, right? Darcy's out of magic, and at the end of book 4, she's screaming for help. Someone needs to save this man. And we need them to figure out a way for Darius and Tori to have another moment so that she can correct her wrong. Okay? That's where we're at. I'm fully prepared to be an emotional mess in this video because when I did my book 4 recap on TikTok, everyone said, oh, just wait till you read book 5 and book 7. This series is going to take me down. Okay? I'm already kind of down. This one's going to bring me way down. So, let's go. I've learned that I like to start these intros after I've read a couple chapters so I get a sense of what is going on in the book so I can give an update. So I will just let everyone know Lance is okay, thank goodness. But of course, why does it have to be Seth? Seth is the one that Darcy runs into? One of my least favorite characters. Him and Tori are public enemy number 1 in my mind. I hate them both. So of course it had to be Seth, of course. Seth comes in, tries to help her revive Lance. They're able to close the stab wound a little bit, but then thankfully Darius showed up, and with him the 3 of them are able to heal him enough, but he's still really drained of magic, and bring him back. Darius now totally knows that Darcy and Lance her thing. So I'm really curious how that's going to play out. We'll have to see. Hopefully Seth like realizes like how deep their love goes too, and like he backs the fuck off and stops being an asshole to them. That would be lovely. And then Tori, we get her chapter because, you know, she's still here, and she immediately calls Caleb and they hook up. Why are you hooking up with Caleb? He is Darius' best friend. You literally just star-crossed him. Like, why? And while that's going on, Caleb gets a call. You need to come to, you know, the little hangout spot for the guys. Like, we gotta figure out. And he realizes that Tori has dark little black rings around her eyes. Gets there, I think it's King's Hollow is what they call it. Realizes that Darius is the person. And Darius is basically distraught. Like, she said no, whatever. So the heirs are like, we're gonna try and fix this. Max is like feeling so guilty, like, I should have seen this coming, but like I was pushing him away because like he can feed on the emotions. Then we see Darius with Orion. Orion tells him like, I'm in love with Darcy. Darius is like, hold on to her until your dying breath, like don't let her go. Like, what a gem. And Darius is like crying over Tori, basically saying no to them. And Lance is like, no one in the history of the world has ever gotten a second chance at this, but like I will do everything in my power to fix, like to change your fate for you. That's where we're at. So like everyone's trying to like fix this stupid mistake that Tori made. I already feel like when she was hooking up with Caleb, she's instantly regretting it, and I just continue to hate her in this book. So that's great. She's already just staying on the list. Seth, there's an opportunity for him to come off the list. So we'll see. That's where we're at. It's already packed a punch. I'm glad we started chapter 1 with like Lance being saved. I could not have gone any longer without knowing if this man was okay. So now we're going to keep reading, and I'm going to be emotionally destroyed. Okay, Darius is like down bad. He just had to tell his brother, and then Washer just saw him and like saw his eyes, and he was like, what am I going to have to like deal with everyone's pity until everyone knows? Like, he's just gonna have to keep reliving it. And now he's like by himself, and this is like what he is thinking to himself. It says, what was the point in power if I was alone with it? It wouldn't keep me warm at night. It wouldn't give me a damn thing that I actually wanted. My whole life I felt alone in so many ways, and so had she. But instead of coming together, we just pushed ourselves apart. He realized too late. That's the issue. He realized too late. Why was that when their moment had to happen? I don't understand. Why couldn't it have happened like 6 months from that point? Well, maybe they had time to build a relationship. They were just starting to like each other. But it was too fresh. Those memories of the things he's done were too fresh. I'm so sad. Also, Clara went to Lionel's house. So now like Xavier just found her, and she's there, and she's referring to herself as the Shadow Princess. So we'll have to see how that goes. She's going to be a problem until they get rid of her, honestly. I'm so sad about Tori and Darius. Oh my god, these people aren't even real, and I'm so sad about it. They're not even real. They're on paper. And I feel like this is like happening to me. I'm so dramatic. All right, bye. Okay, reading update from the car because I read way too late last night, which has been like the theme of my life, and it was just too dark to film. But I did write notes so I don't forget what just like emotionally triggered me in the book. Now, it's crazy to me that I am obsessed with these characters because in book 1, I hated everyone. Like, not that I hated them, but I just didn't feel pulled towards anyone. And then honestly, was really neutral towards the twins, and I liked the boys, but I wasn't like obsessed with them. And now, like, these are my friends. I am so obsessed with these characters that I'm just feeling everything that they are going through, and it's just too much for me to handle. So first off, absolutely crazy, like how the stars work when you become star-crossed. I thought it was just like you were gonna feel a pull towards them, but you could never, like, it would never work out. Something would always stop you guys from like trying to be together. I didn't realize like the stars were actually going to create like storms and then like drop rocks from a ceiling in the cave when they got too close to each other or when they were alone. So that was crazy. And then like at one point, other students are like falling out of the sky because of the storms that they are creating because of being star-crossed. Absolutely insane. I love Lance and how he's just like, I will do anything I can to try and change your fate. Like, we will figure this out. And like, when I do figure it out, like, make sure you've gotten yourself to a point where you're both going to say yes. So like, you need to stop like pitying yourself and having a pity party, and you need to fight for her. And it's just, I can't. I literally cannot. Obsessed with Geraldine like I've been since the last book, and the way she just like completely dismisses Max, I live for it. live for every moment of it. And then just back to like Tori and Darius, they're just clearly so sad over the fact that like they are star-crossed now and everyone knows. And I think Tori's really regretting her decision, but then at the same point she's just like having to convince herself like, no, I did this for me, because like he literally treated me like crap, which I'm understanding more where she came from. I still don't like the decision that we came to, but like I understand her. So my hatred has gone down a little bit, but like I'm still upset. And then Darius, like he's just upset. He's just like crying and having a pity party, which Lance is trying to take him out of. And I can't. It is too much for me. Also, when he did like the interview and it said like all those like mean things about her, and then he came up behind her and he was like, I didn't say any of those things. I'm having my lawyer like have this redacted. And when the thing she was most concerned about was like, did you really push your wedding up? Like, are you really gonna walk down the aisle and like marry your cousin? And he's like, are you still seeing Caleb? So like clearly they love each other. Just freaking figure it out. Fight against the stars and figure it out. I can't. And then them being paired to like fight together in class, and he's just like, I'm not gonna fight back because I don't want to hurt you. And she's trying to taunt him and he just does not give in. He just defends himself, but he never attacks her back. And at the end he gave her the keys to the motorcycle. I can't. I'm obsessed with these people. And I'm so nervous because everyone on TikTok keeps saying book 5 has like the ending will wreck me. They're like, if you thought book 4, like wait for book 5 and book 7. So like I know it's gonna end bad, okay? I know it's going to end bad. And it's not like I'm enjoying myself right now. Like I'm living in this hurt with them, but I'm enjoying being so engrossed in these characters in this series, and I'm obsessed. Guys, I cannot even explain to you how much I fucking hate Lionel. Every scene he is in, every time he's even just mentioned, I already know it's going to annoy me and it's going to piss me off. I cannot stand this man. He is officially on my list of book characters I hate. And let me just give you a taste of who's on that list. Professor Umbridge from Harry Potter, reigning champion of that list. Tamlin from ACOTAR. Dane from Fourth Wing. You will never convince me that he's a good guy, okay? There is no redeeming Dane in my eyes, so don't even try. And now Lionel's there. I hate this man with so much, I don't even have the right words to say how much I hate this man. And I've hated him every book, but like, I think we have reached peak hatred. And I mean, really there was no redeeming him in my eyes, but like we are so past the point. Like I don't care what he does. He could literally run, everyone could be dying and he could be the only reason that they are saved and they're alive, and I would still hate him, okay? The fact that I just had to read about him having sex with Clara while Xavier and their mom, I don't even know her name, are sitting in the dining room waiting for them, and they're literally having sex in the room above them. Absolutely disgusting. Why did that need to be in there? I don't need to picture him doing anything. Gross. Fuck Clara too. I hate her. I know like the real Clara is like buried below the shadows, but I'm sorry, we're not saving her. We need to get rid of her because she's, and if she calls him daddy one more time, ugh, I can't. But the thing that really just took it over the edge for me, order conversion therapy. What? Is that real? He literally has hired this guy to try and like brainwash Xavier into not identifying as a Pegasus and believing that he's a dragon. What? I can't. This is like people who think that they can like tell their kids that they're not gay. What? Like, he's a Pegasus. Just fucking accept him. He's your kid. I do not understand. This man is the worst. The mom is no better because she has no backbone, but I'm sure there's something that brought her to this point, so like I have a little more empathy for her. He is the absolute worst. And the thing about this order conversion therapy is like, is this just changing Xavier's mindset to believe he's a dragon and not a Pegasus? Because like they can't actually change his order, right? So is he just gonna walk around being like, I'm a dragon, and then turn into a lilac Pegasus in front of everyone, but then look like a fool saying I'm a dragon? So confused by it all. Hate this man. Absolutely hate this man, but love that we are getting more Xavier POV chapters. And I love that he was like describing the house as a jail, and he was like, but I have to find the cracks in my prison, and he's trying to help Darius and Lance from the inside. He's like, if I'm stuck here, I'm gonna try and be like a spy within the prison that I've been put inside of. So I really like Xavier, but Lionel, fucking hate him. I hope that man does not have a happy ending at the end of this series. He does not deserve it. I hate him. Let's keep going. So you're telling me that Tori gets up at 6 a.m. to go for a run. And when she gets outside with like all her running gear on, Darius is just waiting there, ready to go with her. And then she runs and he just like, he stays back like enough distance so the stars aren't upset. And then when she goes to get breakfast, he follows her and he just drops the coffee off for her and then leaves. I can't. I'm obsessed with these two. I need them to get another shot because I'm mentally unwell from following this roller coaster of a relationship. I need the stars to give them another shot, like ASAP. Okay, I love that Caleb basically ended things with her and was just like, we clearly are not meant to be. Like, you were meant to be with Darius. I thank God, because if I had to see them like go back to hooking up, I was going to scream and throw my Kindle. And I did like when he pointed out that it was unfair of the stars to give them their moment at that point, because he said like people go years knowing someone before they get their moment. So to give it to them after only a few months, and when there was tons of reasons for her to say no at that point, was really unfair. So I do feel like there's something behind that, like why it happened then, because even in the Ruthless Boys series, it took a while for her to get her moment with each of the guys. And especially she like initially connected with Gabriel and he was the last one to get the moment. So good point on Caleb. But I have to say, speaking of Gabriel, I freaking love him. He's like doing a lesson with Tori, and I like that he can like predict the future, because he was like, actually I'm gonna move because you're gonna punch me and I'm not dealing with the headache of that, and like, I'm leaving for the weekend, you'll apologize to me on Monday morning, or you'll just sit there and like scowl at me. I'm not sure yet. Like, I like that he can just tell what the different futures are gonna be. But he says to her, you just claim that the stars fucked you over, but do you really believe that? And then Tori says, of course I believe that. They selected an Elysian mate for me who had never shown me anything but cruelty and violence. They didn't even give me the opportunity to choose him. This is where he's just iconic. He goes, so you think that between the stars and Darius himself, they're entirely to blame? None of it falls down on you? And then literally Tori says, like, she's thinking to herself, and she goes, and he was right. I wanted to punch him. Like, and you know, I get her. She goes on to say, what should I have done differently? Just roll over and take all the shit he put me through, let him humiliate me, victimize me, taunt and bully me, burn off my clothes, tell lies about me to the press, team up with his friends to hurt my sister, go out of his way to make me miserable, call me all kinds of cruel things and try to drown me, and then say to myself, well, he had his reasons, so never mind. I'll just let him take ownership of me too. Like, this whole scene I'm just loving. And then Gabriel, I don't think you should let him off the hook for it, but I think you need to take responsibility for your part in things too. 100%. Darius is a product of this world, these people who surround him, the monster who made him. How do you think you would have fared with a father like Lionel A. Crux? Who do you think you would be if the Savage King had never died and he'd molded you into his image? Preach. And you learn that in the retelling, and it's also very obvious throughout the breadcrumbs, like, Lionel is the reason that Darius does the things he does. And Darius is constantly fighting a battle in himself to not turn into his father, but it's hard when that has been your influence your whole life, and the father is just constantly calling him, telling him to do things, and threatening people around him. Like, if you don't do this, I'm going to hurt your brother. So yes, the things he does are terrible, but he's not, it's not like of his own free will that he's doing these things. Like, he has an influence on him, and he's doing them in an effort to save someone else. So I like that people are kind of calling Tori on her shit a little bit and putting things in perspective for her. Okay, I think we're getting more insight into Darius's mom. So Tori just like flew off after that conversation with Gabriel because she was pissed, and she crossed the magical barrier that they have around the school. And now all of a sudden she has run into Darius's mom, and his mom said, I managed to pay off a few staff members to alert me if you were to leave campus. I have no clue what they're about to talk about, but she goes on to say, and I'm fairly adept in tracking spells. I was on the path to joining the FIB before my marriage to Lionel was arranged, and ... So we learn it's an arranged marriage. And then Tori notes she stopped talking suddenly, almost seeming to be choking for a moment, and then just shook her head like nothing had happened. I'm thinking there's some type of dark coercion going on around the reason of like why she's with why she's with Lionel and like things about their relationship, because that seems to be like how others act, like how Darius can't tell his friends certain things and he physically can't get the words out. So I'm thinking there's some dark coercion going on here. I cannot handle this anymore. I think I'm more heartbroken than these characters are about what is going on. My heart cannot take it. My little heart cannot handle this. Marguerite is posting, I guess, on Facebook about Darius saying no to Tori and like calling her a whore and all this. And Tyler is like fighting back with her, like, he did not want you. Tori's way better than you. And they're like going back and forth. Darius literally writes back, at Marguerite Hellebore, I wouldn't fuck you again if you were the last Fae in Solaria, and my dick would fall off if I didn't. Don't talk shit about my mate. One more word and I'll destroy you. Hashtag try me, bitch. He's literally claiming her as his mate for everyone publicly, defending her, and making it pretty much known that he was not the one to say no. I can't handle this man. I hated him in the beginning when he was being so mean to them and bullying them and like trying to drown her. And he has really just done a 180 in my mind. Like, I love this man. I love him. I can't, like, I'm literally tearing up just thinking about how much I just want them to be together. I cannot handle this. And I know we have, what, 6, 7, 8, 4 more books plus novellas to get through. Like, I'm literally 27% into this book. This video is probably already 30 minutes long because I've done so many updates. I can't. I love this man. Also, based off the last update, if I had literally just read like 3 more pages, I would have found out that I was correct. She was having dark coercion on her because her and like Tori, somehow their magic ended up like coming together, and Tori's Phoenix fire burned through like tons of walls of darkness that was inside of Catalina, which is her name. And at the end she was like, oh my god, you freed me, thank you so much. And now she like has control of her body, and she's like, I need to go save Xavier because like I think Lionel's going to kill him soon. And so they made a little deal. Tori will not tell anyone about what happened, the dark coercion and all that, because Catalina doesn't want Lionel to know that she's no longer under his control. And in turn, Catalina got Tori's phone number, and she's going to keep her updated on any movements with Clara. So that happened there. But like, Tori and Darius, I don't know what I'm gonna do if they don't get another shot, because right now they can't even be alone together. I can't. I'm done. I love that the girls have finally realized that they need to take the throne. Like, we've just been waiting 4 books for them to come to the realization, and the fact that they climbed that freaking mountain and screamed it in front of the whole school, I'm obsessed. And the heirs had nothing to say. They're just standing down there, not even talking to each other, because they know, like, the girls are gonna beat them. They know. Obsessed. Diego, I still have no clue how I feel about him. Something has felt off about him since the first book. I don't know. I've never really liked him, and I thought maybe I would feel differently once we found out his secret about his family, but I don't know, something still seems off with him, and I don't trust that he, like, I just don't trust him. I know he's helping them out right now by keeping them in the loop about Clara, but I don't know, something is just off about him. And like I predicted, Clara is an issue. She's now like wielding an entire army of nymphs. And it seems like they're searching for that dark object that was mentioned in the letter. Like, she's a problem. We need to get rid of her. I'm sorry, Lance, I know she's your sister, but like we gotta get rid of her. And I hope he comes to that realization soon that he probably never should have brought her from the Shadow Realm. I'm on page 288 and I'm only 33% into the book, and like this much stuff has already happened. This book is wild. The series is wild. I love it. I love this man. I love him. Oh my god. Tori's convinced that now that like articles have been written that they are going to come and try and claim their throne, that Darius no longer is going to want to like interact with her, or specifically run with her in the morning, even though they don't talk, but like they've been doing it for weeks now. She goes outside, he's there, they exchange a glance, they run, he gets her the coffee. Like, this has been the thing. She literally goes outside and she sees him just like leaning against the wall, and she goes, "You're here." He goes, "Why wouldn't I be?" She goes, "Because, well, I just thought the article, the throne." This man goes, "I've always known who you were, Roxy. The only difference is that you've realized it now too. You're a princess, one of the two most powerful fae in the whole of Solaria. You were always going to challenge me eventually. Just don't start thinking I'll roll over for you because you've decided you like the idea of wearing a crown." I've always known who you were. He knew that she was going to finally realize this, and he still loves her and is still fighting for her and is still trying to like make up for what he did. I'm obsessed, okay? I liked them in the other books, but honestly, it wasn't until they had that moment in book 4 where it really hit me like, no, I actually really want them to be together. And now that they can't, it's like breaking my soul. Like, now I'm just like, oh my God, why didn't I appreciate the moments where they could stand in a room together? They could be alone. And now that they can't, I'm like, I just want you together. I'm obsessed. I'm obsessed. I mean, the rest of the world is falling apart. This, you know, they can't be together, but like these little moments are really what's holding me together, because this book is just trauma. Lots of trauma in here. I love Caleb. That plan he came up with to bring them to the amplifying chamber, put the magic restricting cuffs on them, and then proceed to have a threesome so the stars wouldn't realize what they were doing. Bless that man. I wish him nothing but good things on this book now, even though I'm pretty sure he's going to end up with Seth, which I'm loving, and I wish we would get there faster. That scene was amazing and has made the heartache up to this point worth it. I'm obsessed. Guys, I think something's about to go down. Darcy just like had a night with Orion, loved it, but now she's trying to find her phone because she's like, oh, I didn't wake up to my alarm, which is weird. Realizes she can't find her phone, and she's like, actually, I haven't seen it since dinner yesterday in the orb. I'm thinking someone has her phone, and does she delete her text with Lance? Because that would be incriminating. Or if she does delete it, but he texted her this morning, that will also be incriminating. I think she said she changed his name at some point, but I feel like they could figure it out. I'm worried that this is like a foreshadowing for something, because they're going too smooth right now. It has to go bad. What the fuck? Literally 45 seconds after I just finished that clip. Professor Lance Orion, you are hereby detained by the court of Solaria for fraternizing, I cannot say that word, with a student who is none other than a princess of Solaria. I bet it has to do with the phone. No. Why can't I just have one good thing? Everyone needs to be falling apart. Why? Of course, Gabriel shows up like after or as Lance is being taken. And then they're like, why didn't you warn us about this? He's like, oh, I was with my family. I wasn't paying attention to him. Sorry. Like, what the fuck, Gabriel? I love him, but like, you have visions about the most ridiculous things. You didn't see this? And now they're telling Darcy that she's gonna have like a court date where they can hear both their stories. And Gabriel is just saying like, yeah, there's kind of a chance, but like it's really dependent on like the two of you, the stars, the mercy of the court. Like there's many different outcomes it can have. And then he says to her, he will be punished, there's no doubt about that, but the degree to which he is punished will depend on too many factors that I can't clearly see. The only hope for the two of you is a lenient judge, and even then, he will be power shamed, Darcy. He'll lose his job, they'll strip him of his place in Solaria. This man's about to lose all of his powers no matter what? Why? Why? This book, this series is killing me. I love it, but like, I don't know how much more I can take. I really don't. I don't. Like, now I have no couples except for Geraldine and Max, and I don't get enough of them. I'm done. I love Darcy. Tori's like staying with her, and then Darcy just flips out finally, and it's just like, I would have done anything to be with Lance. We constantly had to hide what we were doing. People were like, literally the law was against us, and you had every opportunity to be with Darius. You were just being scared. Like, you were running away from your feelings. You were literally given the opportunity to be with him, and you chose not to. And I just love it. Like, someone finally calls her out on her shit, and I think hearing it from her sister will make it, like, sink in more. And she's totally right. Like, yeah, you were scared, but you still had the opportunity. Like, no one's keeping them apart. They're choosing to be apart. Where, like, Darcy and Lance, like, they literally could not be in public together until she graduated. That was still 4 years away. And clearly it did something, because now Tori, like, went to go find Darius, and they're finally having, like, an honest conversation with each other, thank God. And he tells her he loves her, and then he goes, and I know it doesn't change anything, that it can't change anything, but I'm going to prove it to you. I'm going to do everything I can to make it up to you for the rest of my life, if that's what it takes. I'll never forgive myself for bringing this curse on us, and I'm never going to stop loving you either. I love him. Let's put a counter for how many times I've said that. I love him. I love them together, and I just need her to pull her head out of her ass and just get with the program. So I know Lance was just doing all of that to protect Darcy, because I think he could tell that, like, her testimony on the stand was being interpreted the wrong way and they were going to twist it. But in what world did he think that we would be okay with him getting 25 years in prison? And honestly, it would have just been 10 if he didn't say dark coercion. Because that is dark magic, he got an extra 15 years for that. What world did he think me, the reader, would be okay with that, and that Darius and Darcy would be okay with that? Make it make sense. And if I have to read, like, is he just not going to be in the books anymore? They have to get him out at some point. And if he goes to Darkmoor, is he going to run into Rory from Ruthless Boys? Like, they need to get him out, because I'm not reading this book series anymore if he's not in it. I'm not doing it. And we're only, like, I think 70%, if that, through the book. So what else is happening in the last 30%? Because everyone told me the ending of this is going to break me. So how does it get worse? How does it get worse? I don't understand. I'm, like, tearing up, and you can't even tell because the lighting is so bad. But Seth is, like, really redeeming himself. He traveled back and forth to the mortal realm, I think it said for, like, over a month, to try and find out, like, where Tori's ex-boyfriend is, because a couple chapters back they had talked about, like, people that they hate the most or something, and she said it was him because he left her to die in that car accident. And Seth got all the heirs to go to the mortal realm and beat the shit out of Tori's ex-boyfriend, who is now, like, a gangster, and it was unbelievable. And the guy, he, like, was so beaten, and Darius kept saying, you owe her an apology, and they were, like, filming it, and the guy was refusing to apologize. Darius coerced him into giving an apology, and it was so sweet. And then they decided that they were going to stop at their apartments so that they could see, like, where the girls had lived before they came to Zodiac Academy. And when they went in, they did not realize that they were as, like, down bad as they actually were. And Darius is like, I have never even seen, like, a level of poverty like this. And they basically were like, let's just go home. I think they realized in that moment that the things they did to the girls when they first got there, just how bad it was and how it would have impacted them because of the situation that they were coming from. Like, just going from that apartment to Zodiac was, like, life-changing for them, and the heirs made it so miserable. And Darius, like, reflects on why Tori made a comment when he burned her clothes. Like, she was so upset about the money that was in her pocket, and he says, like, to me money was nothing because I had enough of it, but he's like, now I understand that was, like, life-changing money for her. I still have 3 hours left of this book, by the way, and I'm at 74%, which is wild. This is a long book, and there's some heartwarming moments, but I just know, like, pain is around the corner. I don't want to get there. I hate this new professor who has replaced Orion. Earlier in the video, I talked about how I hated Lionel, and he was on the list with, like, Professor Umbridge. I feel like this professor, High Spell, is going to land herself on this list. Making the girls stand on the desk while she literally attacked them was insane. How is she not locked up in prison? But just thank you for a little bit of joy we're getting in this book. seeing Darcy and Seth have their moment where he fully apologized for everything he did to her and explained like why he did it and how it was really just coming from a place of envy, but how she didn't have to grow up with the pressure that he did. Loved it. And they like, you know, settled their differences, I'll say. And then seeing the two of them tag team taking down Kylie, unbelievable. Loved every second of it. And I love that they didn't even like fight her or do something to humiliate her. They literally just found her weakness of being her pride in her friends and thinking she had power in the school, and they just stripped her of it. They were like, anyone who supports the Vegas, you no longer acknowledge that she's a person. Like, you don't see her, you don't hear her, you don't smell her, like, you don't associate with her. And then Seth jumped in and he was like, that goes for anyone who supports the heirs too. And then even Darius jumped in and was like, yeah, if you are seen with her, you'll get the same treatment. And then everyone just walked away from Kylie. I absolutely love it because she deserves everything she fucking got. How many times did Darcy tell her, like, I'm not sleeping with Seth? And then she recorded, and she's the reason why Orion's in prison. So you got your karma, bitch. But I do have to say, nothing's come up, but like something in the back of my mind is just like, I don't know. I'm still suspicious of Diego because when we didn't know who was the person who sent in the footage, he was on my suspect list. I thought it was, honestly, Kylie wasn't really on my list. I thought it was either Diego or it was Mildred, or somehow like Lionel and Clara were involved because they haven't really popped up too much in this book. I don't know, something about Diego still seems off to me. He's being weird, but he's not doing anything. I just like, something about him is off and my senses are like tingling about it. So we'll see. I would just like to point out that I was completely right when I guessed, I think it was while reading Shadow Princess, but it might have been one of the novellas, that I said Gabriel was their brother or was related to them. But back to Lionel, fuck him. Like, he is still on my list. He's climbing up the list, that's for sure. And now we know that he's been working with the nymphs forever because he orchestrated their parents' death, both their Fae parents and their mortal parents that they were left with. Because he realized that the babies had been switched to mortal babies, he coerced their mother into telling him where the girls were located. But at the last second, she realized she had a vision that they were going to be safe because, you know, phoenixes are reborn from the ashes. He went to the mortal realm and burnt their house down. I can't stand this man. And I cannot wait when I finally get to read the chapter when he is brought down. I know it's going to be like the end of book 9. They're going to make me sit through this for 4 books. But I cannot wait. That will be the best moment of my life while reading this series. Here's going to be my top 3 moments, actually. 1, Lionel being brought down. Hopefully killed. But, you know, brought down. Whatever manner that requires. 2, Tori and Darius finally being together. Despite the stars. Hopefully they have another moment. They can be mates, but whatever it takes, they defy the stars and they be together. And my 3rd moment is when Lance and Darcy are reunited and can be together in public. Those are my 3 moments I'm looking forward to, and they'll be the greatest moments I've ever had reading this series. I hate this fucking book. What is Lance doing? What is he doing? Darius goes out of his way to put the illusion spell so she looks like Max, sneaks her in to the fucking maximum security prison so they can see each other. And he doesn't want her there. He's telling her to get out. It's over. Move on with your life. What? They just risked their lives to come visit you after you were an idiot and you went against the plan. And then Darcy runs out. Darius has to go back in to try and get him to sign this letter that he wants to appeal his... And he won't sign it. He won't sign it. He said he's staying in the prison. So now Darius basically, like, you can just tell, like, he's given up hope. And he basically just says to Darcy, like, he did this for you so that your name wouldn't be, like, sullied as you tried to, like, ascend to the throne. And she's like, I didn't ask him to do that. He took that choice away from me. And Darius is like, isn't blaming her. He's like, I know. He's being a fucking prick, a righteous prick. And he was like, so guess we have to just make it worth it for him. Like, this is what he chose to do. Like, let's see it through then. So he basically tells her, like, make it seem like we moved on. Don't call him. Don't write letters. back off, give him space, and maybe like once he realizes that like maybe you're moving on, he'll come to his senses and decide, oh yeah, I should actually appeal this. What the fuck? So now we're just gonna have no interaction with Darcy and Lance because he wants to just sit in prison. Yet we have that creepy fucking Professor Washer who just walks around the school saying the most disgusting things, touching the students. He's disgusting, and he's allowed to just stay there no problem because he's sleeping with the principal. That man should be behind bars. I'm pissed. I'm so pissed. Can we just have like one good book? Like a couple things happen, but like why is it like at every book you think, oh, it can't get worse than this, and the next book gets worse? I'm not having fun anymore. I'm not having fun. I love that Tori and Darius just had like a full moment together. They literally just put their air shields up and they let the lightning just hit them and the rain hit them, and I love it. But if the stars like cause a storm every time they're near each other, would that still happen if they went to the mortal world? Like if they went to the mortal realm for like a date night, could they go to the movies or like dinner together, or will the stars still affect them there? Just a thought. And she finally like apologized to him and was like, I'm so sorry I did this to us. Yeah. And he was like, no, you didn't do it to us. Like it takes two of us. No, it was her. Okay. She ultimately made the decision, so it's on her. Orion has been in prison for 3 months. 3 months without him already. I hate it. 3 months too long. But I will say I do love seeing Rory Knight in this book. So I've read Ruthless Boys, and I feel like there's like a little peppering of the characters in book 4, but book 5, almost all of the characters, except for my boy Ryder, have been in this one, and I am living for the fact that Rory, I mean, to be expected, he already like has his own like little gang in the prison. He has an invisible army called the Shades. It says you never knew who worked for him and who didn't, so avoiding him was difficult because he probably had people watching me at all times. I love it. And I do know that the series after Zodiac is about him and Rosalie, who's like, that's how he got into the prison, whatever. So I'm excited to learn more, but I miss Rory. I'm glad he's doing well in prison, because they kind of like left that open-ended in Ruthless Boys, but I'm glad he's doing well. Tori figured out a way to create like a bangle thing that would leave a brand on Darius and basically give him a little bit of her phoenix fire, so that when he left, because this is like after their exams, when he left to go back to his house for the summer, his dad wouldn't be able to put like dark coercion on him because the phoenix fire inside of him would like burn through it. I can't, like, that's so romantic. And when he realized that it's working because they have Max like test out his powers, he literally says to Tori, you set me free. She goes, I wasn't gonna let you head back to that house with that fucking monster for the summer and be at his mercy. I can't. And then he goes, I already told you I love you, Roxy, but now I'm telling you I want you to. Only you, no matter what it takes to make that happen. I can't. I love them so much. I can't. I fucking knew it. Diego definitely just lied to Tori to try and capture her for Lionel. Fuck him. Because I really thought Darcy had been taken. Then literally flips the next chapter. It's the heirs just playing a prank on her, and she's at King's Hollow with them. Hopefully Darius checks his phone soon and gets Tori's voicemail. What the fuck? I knew Diego was not a good guy. I've been saying it in like all these videos. I knew it. Fucking knew it. Reading is supposed to be fun, and this is not fun anymore. This is not fun. We were finally all a team. The girls, the guys, they were all, you know, like kumbaya. Like we were basically a family. We were a family until this bitch Clara is out there forcing Darcy to use the shadows on Max, Caleb, and Seth. And she's literally having to yell at the heirs, like, take me down, do everything you can, like, do not hold back because I have no control and she's trying to get me to kill you. So now the heirs are basically having to just purposely fight Darcy, because if not, she's going to kill them even though she doesn't want to. This is no longer fun. This is the worst. I'm having the worst time. If anyone cared to know, I am having a terrible time. What the fuck? Diego's a nymph? What? How? I'm so confused right now. What? You're kidding me, right? I hate this fucking man so much. He just forced a guardian bond on Tori. To him, to Lionel. You should only be allowed to have one guardian. Okay, that should be a rule. What the fuck? I hate this man so much, and I hate Clara. Oh my god. I'm not having fun. Just let the record state, I am not having fun. I hate this book. I hate that ending. Everything is worse. No one is in a good spot. Literally no one is in a good spot. Everything just fell apart at the end, and I fucking hate Lionel. And I don't know how they're gonna be able to save Tori. I really don't. She's like fully in the shadows now. She barely can remember Darcy's name, and he's just like torturing it out of her. I hate this book, and I hate that I listened to people when I started this series. And I say this as I've like already immediately downloaded book 6, but like I hate this book, okay? I hate it. I need to like recoup, and I will be back probably tomorrow to give like my rating and final thoughts, but right now I'm miserable. Absolutely miserable. Okay, I already filmed this and my mic was off. So, round 2 of my final thoughts on book 5. I've had a day now to process the events of the end of the book, come up with a rating, and come up with kind of what my thoughts are on everything that happened. So, let's start with the rating. Of course, 5 stars. Now, if you are shocked because during the video I just kept saying, I hate this book, I hate this series, I'm miserable, I'm having a terrible time, just know that like I'm in pain for the characters, but if a book can make me feel that much for people who are literally on paper, they're not real, that's a great book. I'm hating being in pain, but I'm loving the overall experience of being so connected to characters and stories. It's so rare to find series like that or books like that. So 5 stars. Now, I also gave book 4, Shadow Princess, 5 stars. If you haven't seen that reading vlog, go watch that one. But I will say the book 4 5-star is a little bit higher than this 5-star because I think the ending of book 4 just like hit me a little bit more because it was more relationship focused. You know, I was very upset when I thought Lance was dead and Darius and Tori had just become star-crossed. Like, I was very upset about that. This one I can process a little more. So let's just get like my overall thoughts on like how I'm feeling about how things happened and like where we're going. So first thing, Diego being dead, I'm fine with. I've been suspicious of him from the beginning. I never really connected to his character. Honestly, he really bothered me more than anything. I just did not really enjoy when he was in the scenes. So I'm fine that we don't have to read about him anymore, if I'm being honest. Now, I do hope we find out how he was a nymph this whole time. And if there's other people that like are at the school that are also doing the same thing, because that has not been answered yet. So that is the only case I want Diego to pop up in. The second thing, Lance being in prison. I have put blinders up on that. I'm just telling myself that that is not real. That happened in a dream world, not in this real world. It did not happen. And I will tell you this, if by the end of book 6 he is still in prison and there is no like hope of him getting out anytime soon, I will stop reading the series because I cannot sit through another 800 whatever pages of him just being in there. We're not really getting anything with him, and then just watching Darcy be like so sad about the whole thing. I can't do it. I cannot. I need a glimmer of hope that they're going to be together. And then the third thing, Darius and Tori, they finally decide they're going to go for it. They're going to find a way to be together despite the stars pushing them apart. And Lionel has to come in and ruin everything as he does. I still hate him. I know though that he will be here until the end. Like, I will have to deal with him until the end. I've just accepted that. I wish I didn't, but I know I'm gonna have to. It's just like, I can tell from the way these people write, he will be there till the end. Him taking Tori and putting a guardian bond on her for like the two of them, I'm not over that. I'm not over that. But when they showed a scene of Lance in prison, he is talking to Ethan Shadowbrook, and Ethan Shadowbrook says, I have a friend that has these pills that I could get you to kind of lessen the effects of the bond, because Ethan's trying to like get Lance to join his gang. That is really the only POV we get of Lance once he's gone to prison, and I think it was so that we could get that little piece of information. So I am thinking the crew is going to find a way to find this like drug essentially that she can take to lessen the effects of the bond. And then once it's kind of like reduced, then they can go and attack Lionel without her really being impacted by it. Because right now, if they go to kill him or attack him, she's going to be in pain. And Darius is not going to let that happen. So I think that is the path forward there. Now, her going to live with Lionel and Clara, I don't like that because Clara's a bad influence. So I'm pretty sure Tori, I mean, we saw her go to the shadows. I think she's going to be like Clara, where she's just like a shell and you'll get glimpses of her personality, but it's going to be unrecognizable to the crew. Also, I can't even begin to think if Lionel's going to force that bond to become a sexual relationship like he has with Clara. If that happens, don't even get me started. I can't handle that. I can't even think about that. Honestly, that would be another reason why I would stop reading the book if I had to like read that. I can't. But I think, everything's a shit at this point. Everything is just in the ground at this point. There's nothing good happening. I do think we will see Darcy team up more with the heirs, or at least team up with Darius to try and save Tori. So I do like that we'll kind of get the crew back together, and I think they'll continue to build those bonds, which is like the only thing I can cling to. But yes, 5-star read. I really enjoyed it. It broke me as a person. I, of course, am jumping. I thought I was going right to book 6, but there actually is novellas in between that I'm going to read. So the next reading vlog will be the Big A.S.S party and Seth on the Moon. The vlog after that will be book 6, Fated Thrones. So I'm very excited. We're continuing on. Maybe after book 6 we'll take a break, but right now we're not taking breaks. So strap in. Make sure to hit the subscribe button so you can see those upcoming videos and continue to watch me on my Zodiac journey. Leave a comment if you've read the series or if you're currently reading it and what your thoughts are. None of my friends are reading the book right now. I'm trying to convince them all. So I need to talk to my online friends about it. So let me know your thoughts in the comments and like the video, hit the bell, do all the things, and I will see you in the next one. Bye.